Hi guys, this is Starving with another one of your random videos. I wanted to kind of just give you guys like an idea of me and like an introduction of myself because I don't think I've done that yet. So, okay. So I'm gonna start from what I remember when I was like 7. I remember that for the most part, I liked being kind of like by myself. Like at school, I would just like during lunch or recess, I would just mainly like play with sandcastles, like in the sandbox or make them. I mean, and like go down the slide, play with the swings, whatever. Um, I went to La Rosa, which is in LA. Um, for my kindergarten, like first, second, third grade, maybe. And yeah, and I remember I didn't make my first friend till I was like 8 or 9, I think. Like actual friend. I mean, I had friends that like PE and like that knew me in class and stuff, but like I never really like went out of my way to make friends. Except I saw this girl, her name was Bianca, and she was on the slide and she had slid down and then she started crying, which like it didn't look like she hurt herself or anything. So I went over to like, hey, are you okay? And whatever. And then we became friends. And then actually, yeah, I believe I was in Temple City at the time. So I had moved from where were we? I don't remember. It was like, no, we didn't. Yeah, we had moved. And anyways, so I made this friend, and she recognized me from a different school actually because I made her. We were friends in like third grade, and then we had met up again. I believe like in the fifth grade, she recognized me. She's like, "Oh, Star, come here and meet my other friends." So then I met her other friends, and then like I would hang with them a lot more. Yeah. Like it's weird. I had a lot of acquaintances, but like friends like actually who would invest in me and like actually talk to me and stuff. That was like here and there. And then I moved a lot. Me and my mom, we would move a lot. My dad as well. And then I don't remember exactly what age, but we went from like different places, the blue apartments, my grandfather's house. I went a lot of in between. My aunt would watch me a lot, and she would watch all the kids, like from all my cousins and stuff like that. So I was always with them a lot. I was with my auntie Kathy like a lot. And then from there, I would go back and forth between her and my grandmother and my mom, and then my mom would like end up in prison or in jail a lot here and there. So then I would end up with my aunt a lot because my dad, he like worked like a whole bunch. So like I was always with my cousins all the time. And I remember at one point, maybe seven. I want to say around 7, 8. I'm kind of going back and forth because there's like certain things that I just want to tell you guys about. Like I believe at 7 or 8, I like asked my uncle Michael, who was staying with my aunt Kathy at the time. Like he had a bunch of these books that were like very witchy, very witchcraft. And I had a high reading level at the time. So I had asked my uncle Michael if I could like pick up one and kind of read it. So he said, "Yeah, sure, you know." So he gave me a couple books. He's like, "Here, go through these and whatever." He showed me his jewelry, which was really cool. He had all these like little pentagram necklaces and like rings and little dragons and stuff like that I could remember, skulls. And I just remember looking up to him and thinking, wow, you know, he's really cool. Like, you know, he dresses all dark and all this type of stuff. Um, so then I read the books and I got into them. And then at my school, I noticed there was a library. And believe it or not, um, they had some of those books there that I would check out and then I would read more. And I got into gemology, I got into energy reading, I got into spirit guides, and I'm like 8, 9, 10 years old. I don't know what I'm reading. It's fun for me, at the time. Um, and just learning about all this stuff. And I believe part of the reason why I wanted to get into those books is because one of the books had like that, that pentagram symbol on it. And I had just maybe like watched, I don't remember what age I watched The Craft, but I remember watching The Craft and going, oh, wow, I want to do that. Well, of course, witchcraft's not really like that, but it's similar, like as far as like the ideology that goes behind that movie. So that was really interesting. And then you go from like, fast forward a little bit, just like always with my cousins, like I said, mainly. And when I say like my cousins, I mean like my aunt, like she had sisters as well, so all her sisters would drop off the cousins, and we had like my cousin Selena, Brenda, Henry, and then we had Junior, Anthony, Ryan, Serena, Christina was always there with my aunt Kathy. Those are her kids. And so we just did the normal like kid stuff. Like we were always outside or always walking around, or just getting into little trouble, stuff like that. And we would like sneak out of the house at like what we'd wait till like 4 or 5 in the morning and then go outside, because in our backyard we had like a basketball court and just like little things to ride on, like those little cars and stuff like that. So we were just always getting into just stuff at night just cuz. And then like, we would get into candy and like funny little things that kids do. And then we would like truth and dare each other, all sorts of things. So much fun growing up with them. So then I remember one of the times. Oh, there was a time where like I kind of lived in a van with my mom and my dad, and they just kind of made it work for a little while. That was when I was older. I don't remember exactly what age, but there were also times where I was in and out of a mother and daughter rehab with my mom as well. So of course, getting up to that age, so there was that. And then like there was a weird incident when I was living with my mom and her like little rehab thing. And then I had to, because of the area we were in, because it wasn't like all that you would consider a great area, like I was actually in like a gang type thing, but that's just kind of a long story. I didn't, it's not like I picked to be in a gang, just that whatever they thought they were in that school, like you had to pick like a group to hang out with in order to like be safe, because like I remember getting jumped like a couple days into I was going to a school called Madrid, which is like, I don't know, but I went to a rehab called Walden House, so that was the area we were in. I don't remember. I don't know. It's some Hispanic word that we're the city we were in, but yeah. So I went to the school called Madrid, and then I ended up getting jumped. And then this other girl was like, "Hey, I like the way you defended yourself." Honestly, I rolled up into a ball. I didn't fight back too much. I was just trying to get the girl off of me. But I guess apparently, whatever I did impressed the other girl who was part of this other gang. So she was like, "Hey, you have our protection." I was like, "That's cool." And she's like, "We're gonna walk you home from now on." And I was like, "That's cool," because my school wasn't far from my like where I was staying, which was the rehab. So, so then I started getting walked home with these girls. They called themselves the Golden Girls or something weird. I don't know. And Like, so I would like hang out with them, and then they would hang out with this other group. I forgot what the other group was called, but apparently they were related to Three Count Crown Kings or something like that. I don't know, but that's the group I hung out with, and then we would just hang out. We would always, before we went to the house, it was like we had this kind of like a, I guess you would call it a ritual type thing, or like just a normal like just a habit of like going from school, and then you go to this place called Big, no, Bob's Burgers, B's Burgers, D's Burgers, something like that. And it was right by the school. I wonder if it's still there. So but anyways, so yeah, we would hang out there, and then they would hang out with their guy friends or whatever. And at the time, I was just like kind of nervous about everything, so I didn't make too much conversation or whatever. I was just kind of there with the girls, like hanging out and trying to like, I guess, fit in at the time. And then there was this really cool witchy girl, who like me and her like hung out a lot, and she was really cool. And when I went to her house, her mom was also a witch, so like, you know, just getting more into that. And she had books all around her house. Her house, when I tell you her house looked witchy, when you went into um when you went into her house, uh like there was trees all around it, and then there was a gate behind the tree, so it looked really trippy. So from the sidewalk, you'd look, and it just looked like a bunch of trees, but like if you go in between, you can kind of like, if you get closer, then you could see it. And like, so you go in, and there was this fence, and then you go in, and then it was like a little yard. It was really cute. um and but the house looked really broken down again. Like, this area was not like rich or anything, so like, you know, more poor down, broken, like, you know. She even had like a little crack on the side of her house, I remembered. And then like you go in, and like she had these vines hanging from her house. So when I say it looked witchy, it literally looked like she belonged in a forest. It was so weird. But yeah, so we go inside, and the first area you walk into is like her kitchen. There's like a little dining table, and there's like a refrigerator there. And you know, it was crazy because like she even had like, they had this cookbook, and it was like holiday witchy cookbook like on their table. So that's, I mean, I don't know, it's just crazy. And then so we would hang out and do normal stuff. And then of course, you know, she was like, do you want to get into my mom's spell books? And I'm like, yeah, okay, let's go do that. And then like, you know, we read spells. And then she tried to make like guys fall in love with her and stuff. Like, she's crazy. But oh, she did that once, and oh my gosh, that was crazy. Like, um I didn't think, like, I was still like, I believed in it, but I was still unsure like how everything worked and all that. So I was just watching this. And mind you, I'm like 14, 13, 14 now. No, yeah, for sure, 13, 14 now. You know, watching all this stuff happen, and she's like making these guys like obsess over her, and I was like, whoa, this thing's really trippy. So then it kind of makes you want to get into it more, because you're like, oh wow, this feels like, you know, being 13, you feel like, oh well, if that's working, you feel kind of powerful, and like you want to do that. So, but words to the wise, love spells always come with a price. You don't know what you're gonna pay when you pay them, but it could be bad. It could be not so bad. I mean, it just depends on karma, what you're doing with the spell and all that. So if you guys need any advice on that, comment down below. I mean, I was still, you know, I'd rather you do it the right way than not do it the right way. But anyways, so I saw some cool stuff happen there, and you know, I think we were there for like a year. Yeah, we were there for like maybe a year and a half. And I remember like because they were gonna drop my mom out of the program after a year, but she's like, no, I'm not ready. And she was all scared, because like when you live in the rehab, you live in the rehab, like you're there for everything. And then they let you go, you know, they figure they rehabilitate you, and they send you out back into a normal life, you know. And but yeah, she wasn't ready to go, so we waited a little longer. And then finally we did get out. And then from there, I believe we ended up in a place called the Blue Motel. I loved, let me tell you, that was one of my favorite places that I lived at. It was so cool, and they had other kids that lived there, so I made friends like very quickly. Um like 15 now. No, I was 14 turning 15. So I was making friends. I stayed there for like a year. And then let's see. It was so cool too because we had another like apartments right next to us, and we could literally go in that pool, or if we wanted to, go next door and go swim in the other pool. The other pool was I think it was a little deeper than ours and was bigger. But it was also like, I think it was part of the Blue Motel. It was just like where you have the motels that are like two separate things. But yeah, so I made some friends, and then it was crazy because this guy who lived in the other motel type thing, or apartment, or whatever you would call it, the blue whatever. He kind of started getting jealous because like he thought I was stealing his friends or something, which wasn't the case. We were all just hanging out at the same time, so I don't know what his problem was. But one day we were swimming in his pool, which, like I said, was the bigger pool. It was deeper. It just seemed funner to be in. There was a lot more people over there in that one. Like if you wanted like a private one, you'd go to ours because like it was just less people in our pool for some reason. But yeah, they wanted to hang out with him one day, so I was like, okay, we went over there and we were all hanging out and having fun. Thank God my dad was there because that kid got really jealous of me and he actually tried to drown me in the pool. And then ever since then, like I cannot, like while I'm in the pool, I cannot have anyone grab onto my back or my shoulders, like while I'm in the water, or I freak out. But I remember my dad pulling him out of the pool and getting really mad, and then like the kid kind of, I think if I remember correctly, he ran to his mom's house, and or his house, whatever, and then my dad followed him, and then he tried to shut the door on my dad. Or he did shut the door on my dad. And then my dad like banged on the door. And of course, the kid's mom like answered. I was like, oh my gosh, why are you pounding on my door? Blah, blah, blah. And he explained that like, oh, your kid's trying to drown my kid and all this stuff. And she's like, what? And then the kid was like, no, mom, no. And then like, but yeah, she's like, oh, I'll talk to him, whatever. And ever since then, he didn't really hang out with us as much. I mean, he still kind of came around, but I noticed he tried to hang out with the group when I wasn't really around. So he was that jealous of me, or I don't know what. But I don't think he hung around too much longer either. I think he ended up moving before I did. So there was that. And I also had a Christmas there that was really nice. Seeing my dad and his friend like climb up the stairs to bring the Christmas tree, that was something else. That was really interesting because we lived on the 3rd floor. So that was just interesting. But yeah, I had a really good Christmas, and that year, oh my goodness, I got my Charizard card and my Raichu card, and then like my PlayStation, and like I had a bunch of Spyro games, and they got me some other like games that it came with, or I think there was like a sale or something, I'm sure. But at the time, but anyways, yeah. Getting off subject here. Let's see what else. But yeah, and then again, I remember watching something that made me go back to all my witchcraft stuff. Like, I mean, I never left it, but like, getting back into being interested and studying more. Like I said, I've been doing it since I was 7. So, but I saw some movie or something, and it made me want to get back into that. So, and then someone was like, "Well, something about I don't dress very witchy or something," and it made me think. So, my mom actually took me shopping and bought me new clothes, and it was really cool. And I remember, I was so excited because my mom let me get like this really pretty black and silver like corset thing, and then it came with like a little jacket, a little like punk rock looking jacket, and then like it had black and then like little chains, and then just like um I don't know, and then um so I started dressing like that, and the weirdest thing was um I remember I was just like that, and then the crazy part was walking. Wait, was it? Yeah, I think one day I was walking around the apartment or something. I don't remember exactly, but I found like this Disturbed CD on the. It was, believe it or not, it was on the street. And then it didn't have the case or anything. It was just the CD, but it didn't look that scratched up, and I didn't know what it was at the time. So I like picked it up, and then so I rush back to the house. I run upstairs, and then I had this little CD player. Or did I have a radio at the time? No, I think, yeah, I had a little CD radio thing. So I put that in and I start playing it. My dad's like, "Hey, that sounds good." He didn't even know what it was either. So I like start playing it, and then like we're both like rocking out to it. It was so funny. But yeah, that was one of my first like rock CDs I had. And then that was when my dad he looked up like a CD place around us, and he found a CD shop not too far from us. It was like literally walkable distance. And my dad, he liked to walk. So we actually walked down like maybe a block or two from where we were, and then we found this little CD shop. I forgot what it's called. I want to say like, I don't know, John CD Place or something. I don't know. It had like a name and then like CD and then whatever. But like, so we went in and it was cool, and the guy was super cool, and he had these like crazy eye contact looking things. It was the first time I seen him, and I was like, whoa. And it looked like his eyes were like, I don't know how to explain it, like bleeding kind of, like white and like just like blood splatter or whatever. But man, looking at him, and I was like I said, I was only like 14, 15, like I said. So I was like, what the heck? I was like, I could not stop staring. He goes, "Oh, you like my eye contacts?" I was like, "Yeah." And then he had some for sale too. And he's like, I guess he wasn't really supposed to bring them out or whatever, but he had them there. And then my dad's like, "Oh, maybe like, for your birthday or something, we'll come back and get them, or get a pair if you want a pair." So I was like, "Wow, that's so cool." Anyways, so there was that, and then I ended up getting. I knew nothing about this band at the time, Children of Bodom CD, and that band. Oh my gosh, I fell in love with it. I had the one with the Blue Reaper on the front. Oh, and then also the gray one, the one that has bed of nails on it. I believe that's the gray CD. I don't remember exactly what it looked like now. It's been too long. I have it actually still in Florida at my Florida house. But yeah, so I fell in love with that, and then oh wait, was that the year I got it? I don't remember. I got a couple of them, and then I found a Slipknot CD. Like I said, didn't know nothing about them at the time, and then I fell in love with that. And then I had what else? I don't know. I picked out some other ones. I don't remember exactly which ones they were. But, sometimes you just go by pictures, or you go by like the name of the songs, and you're like, oh, that sounds like it could be something cool to listen to or whatever. And then, of course, you ask like the guy who's there. You're like, well, I like this type of music. And then he's like, oh, you want this in this area, like whatever. So anyways, so we did that, and that was really fun. And then me and Dad found like a walkable distance buffet type place. Oh my goodness. Oh no, it wasn't walkable distance, not at the time. But we used to drive to Hometown Buffet all the time. Oh my gosh, one of my favorite buffets. I wonder if that's still around. So we would do that. And then there was this nice little Asian karaoke bar we used to like actually go to, and they give us these like, they're like noodles, but they're like fried, but they're like chips, but they look like noodles. I don't know, but they're really good. So we would go to there all the time, go listen to people like sing, and then my dad would get like that bowl of noodles chip things, and that would be free, so we'd have to pay for that, but because that would be like the appetizer, and then my dad would get like his California California rolls, yeah, he would get those. So that was really fun being by that motel. I mean, that was just lots of cool stuff there. And then I don't remember exactly, but I know my mom went back to, oh no, wait, yeah, my mom went back to prison, and then we ended up living with my grandfather on my dad's side. He lives in Temple City. He had like a 2-story house. Oh my gosh, I felt like I was rich when I was living in there. It was just so nice. And we'd be there, and then I ended up, I believe, changing schools again. I went to a school called, we were like the Emperor Eagles, so I guess it was called Emperor, I think. And I went to that school for a year, and then after that, I'm trying to think. No, there might be a gap in my memory. I think I know I was going over to my Aunt Kathy's a lot because my dad would work a lot. He would work late nights, and you know, he didn't want to always leave me with my grandpa and my grandma, which was fine. They loved me to death. So, but you know, just to give me some kid time as well. You know, I got to spend the night at my auntie's house, and they were not well. My cousin Junior Anthony would go to the same school I went to, which was the Emperor Eagles one. So I think I always had a ride to school, I believe, there, and then a ride back would be my grandfather, and he would always get me Burger King before he dropped me off at my Aunt Kathy's house. So that was really nice. So then I would go back and forth between that a lot, and then my dad, like, he would work really late, but sometimes he'd come get me. So, like, it'd be, like, 1 in the morning, and he'd wake me up, and then he'd be like, hey, you want Taco Bell? And I was like, yeah. Like, so, like, 1 in the morning, we'd go to Taco Bell and go get, like, at the time, so the Taco Bell we went to was, like, half Taco Bell, half Pizza Hut. So a lot of the times I would get, like, the little mini pizza with the pizza, what do you call it? The, like, the bread from Pizza Hut. Because Pizza Hut and Taco Bell were together at one point. I don't know if they still are, but they were when I was growing up. So that was really cool. I got super into Pokemon cards, and then during the weekends, we would take my cousin Christina, sometimes my cousin Junior, to go to this place called Orbit, which was a Pokemon card shop. I don't know if it still exists. It's in San Gabriel somewhere. No, I don't know if it's in San Gabriel, actually. But it's got to be near there, because, I mean, it wasn't too far from where my aunt's house was at the time, which was San Gabriel. But yeah, I got super into Pokemon cards, and we started collecting a whole bunch. I tried to watch the people play the game, but I never really, like, learned. Not that I never really learned from that experience, but I like to watch it. And then we also had they had Magic of the Gathering cards as well, and I'd watch those tournaments. Those were so much fun. And then they would have Dance Dance Revolution, because they had their own little arcades there, and they would have Dance Dance Revolution. What's it called? Dance Dance Revolution, like, tournaments, I guess you would call it. And, like, even it would get so big. I think they, like, they recorded it to the point to where, like, I think there was one guy who was, like, on the news about it. I'm not sure. But I remember something, like, it was a big deal, and they got, like, a trophy and all this stuff. I don't know. It was cool to watch, though. For sure, it was fun. And they would have anime nights, so we just go and watch, like, whatever anime movie they wanted to play at the time. So they would have that. So I was there a lot. I was a big nerd. Don't make fun of me. So there was that. And then, what else? There's some more. But this video has been like 30 minutes. So I'm going to cut it here. And then I'll continue from where I left off. From this point. And I'll see you guys in the next video if you guys are interested. If you guys liked it or have any questions or comments or just want to say hi in the comments, I encourage you to do so. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe. And this has been Starbeam signing off. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!